I've watched your video, I hear your points. The issue with your argument is you're wrong. The argument that clickbait is bad, I just don't agree with. And before I get into this, what is the definition of clickbait? Because we all should be on the same page here. Content whose main purpose is to attract attention and encourage visitors to click on a link to a particular webpage. You'd be a silly goose if you weren't using clickbait based on that definition. You want people to read the article that you wrote or watch the video that you made. Otherwise, what's the point of making it in the first place? The argument, though, that clickbait is bad because, say, it's nefarious and you're hurting the reputation of an animal, that stuff I would agree. I just don't think that's what we're doing. And this whole video is stemmed off of a video that claimed myself, Snake Discovery, and many others are hurting the hobby based on our thumbnails. And I just personally don't think that's correct. Now, I've never seen this content creator before. She seems like she has a lot of great information in her other videos. Just the specific one, I don't really agree with much in what she said. And with that said, I don't care that she used my face. It's cool, it's totally fine. Don't be rude to this person, be nice to this person. She's trying as a content creator, which is what we're all doing. I include her in the club of us who are content creators. Just she doesn't use the same tactics for thumbnails and titles, and not ripping on her view counts or subscribers. She's only been doing it for 11 months. And realistically, 1,000 subscribers at 11 months is that's pretty darn good, actually. It takes a long time to get a following. However, her thumbnails kind of go against everything that you're taught to do when making thumbnails from anybody who talks about thumbnails. And I think that's going to be part of the argument here. So the video is directed to anyone who says, well, why do you use these titles and thumbnails and whatever, but I'm just using this video as an example because it's just so clearly in your face about her opinion. And again, everyone's entitled to an opinion. I use my opinion all the time. You don't have to agree with it. Let's just all be kind to each other. I'll start with the good. In this video, I agree a lot with what she says. And I watched the entire video because I think commenting on a piece of content that you haven't actually watched is kind of silly goose stuff. And it's just truly not fair, right? I want everything to be in context. For example, we agree, and I think all of us who are watching, maybe, I don't want to speak for you, but maybe you agree, a snake bite in general is not the fault of the snake. It's always because of the human. I agree with this. Generally, I mean, even this in this context, I mean, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens, but obviously Pikachu or whatever snake you're holding would feel insecure and it's a defensive bite, right? There's two reasons snakes bite. She says this in the video. She's absolutely correct. Food motivation. They think you're food, which some snakes are more apt to do. Reticulated pythons, for example, oftentimes, well, when you open the cage, they get a heat signature. They bite first and ask questions later. It's still your fault. That is the nature of the animal. You should know what you're getting yourselves into. Other animals are going to bite more for defensive purposes, but no animal means to hurt you for no reason. I also agree that staging snake bites for views when you're hurting the snake in order to get the bite is a bad idea. Generally, snakes will only bite if it's not food. It's because they're stressed. And I think stressing snakes for views rather than for education, because things like taking a snake to a reptile show, for example, can be stressful, but I think there's a greater purpose and it's not a nefarious way of doing it. But I agree that anything that is staged in order to make a snake feel uncomfortable or in some cases abusive in order to get those clicks is a bad example and is a bad thing to do. However, I don't agree that using a picture of a snake yawning or a snake even biting somebody where that thing has already happened as a thumbnail in order to bait people in to put your actual message in front of their face, which is the crux of the argument, I don't think that's an issue at all. As long as the information is actually good and tells people that snakes don't bite unless they are provoked. The only exception would be if you're showing like how a snake anatomy works and you're trying to bait the snake to bite, which you can do with food instead, to show how the snake actually works. I've seen videos like this. I have no problem with that. And yes, all those YouTubers in Florida who put Burmese pythons in sewers and then throw darts at you people are animal abuser pieces of garbage, and I do not agree with you whatsoever. And I've actually had face-to-face conversations with these people, and I've called them out directly to their face. So we all agree on that. Now let's get to the part where there's a disagreement. In the video, and I've heard this argument a handful of times, and just to put this out there, just because I've heard the argument, oh, you shouldn't use these images, or you shouldn't have this title, like literally a handful of times through my 6-year YouTube career, doesn't mean it's correct. It's a bad argument because, I mean, there's literally tens of thousands of people in one group of flat earth. So just because a lot of people believe one thing doesn't mean it's true. In the video, and I've heard this argument before, she says, the content doesn't matter. The damage is already done by the thumbnail. I'm gonna say that I disagree with this completely, and I am confident that this is incorrect. But I will say, before I started YouTube, I thought the same way, and then my eyes were opened because, well, I have a background in advertising, and now I have 6 years of experience on YouTube. Now, the point of my qualifications isn't to be like, well, look how much I know because I went to school. I think that's a stupid argument. The point is, when I was making a living in advertising, we studied and made a living on the fact that people will see one thing and then take in the content. The only way that you make sales, you convert and you make more money from that client, whoever you're trying to advertise for example, say in print, is if the title works and then they take in the content and buy whatever the product is. In this case, as thumbnails, our advertisement is the thumbnail, and then the content, you know that they converted because you get a comment, which I've literally received thousands of. Hey, I watched this video because I thought snakes were bad and you changed my mind. Like, of course, I'm paraphrasing, but I've had thousands of those messages. And the reason this works is because people, for the most part, like confirmation bias. The way that people Google things and search for things isn't, oh, what is the best party for me to vote for? They have something in their head that says, okay, we're not making this political, but this is just like the one that's going on right now. They will use that party that they like, left or right, in the title, and then that's going to dictate what they're going to be fed. So it's confirmation bias, even if you're not trying to do it. So if you type in snake bite, you're going to click first on the one that shows what you think is a snake bite, rather than a thumbnail that doesn't show a bite. And this isn't just me saying, oh, your thumbnail's bad. It's just basic principles of thumbnail making. Look at any video, how to make thumbnails and get clicks on them, have a high click-through rate. And the entire idea is you have to come through on the promise in the thumbnail first, but then in the video. A great way to do that is to show a snake with its mouth open. Now you've got their attention and they're gonna click on the video, and now is where you have their attention. You've earned their attention and you can shove in their face the message that you're trying to get to them. If you have the best message in the world, but nobody clicks on it, you're just shouting into an abyss. What is the point? To drive this home, Brian Barczyk, no matter what you feel about him, he used to get bit for clicks. I don't really agree with that, but I love everything else about the dude. I love that dude. I have a tattoo of his face on my leg, okay? Like, I'm a fanboy, but I remember what he said to me, and this really stuck. And this was a little while ago. This is the first time I ever met the guy, and it's resonated with me. I'm gonna read it to you just to make sure that I don't mess it up. There is no use preaching to the choir. We don't need to lecture the converted, bait in the unconverted, and make them fall in love with reptiles, which is what we do, and I've got thousands of comments to prove it. The main point is here, we're not trying to get in people who already know that snakes don't bite unless you provoke them. We're trying to get in people who are trying to confirm their bias. Oh, I know snakes are bad and they're evil and they're gonna bite you for no reason, and then we convince them that they're wrong. And the only way you're going to do that for most people is to make them think you're gonna back up what they already think. And then in a non-confrontational way, you convince them that they are wrong, their worldview of snakes is wrong, and then that's when you're shoving the idea in their face and you convert them. Which again, works very well. We all do it, and that's why we do it. The entire idea of this video, in my opinion, and again, I'm not trying to be rude, I truly just do think that she's not pretending. She truly and honestly just doesn't understand why we do it and how well it actually works. And she really drives this home when she talks about snake discovery. Wouldn't this thumbnail be better than this one, showing hers being better than snake discoveries? The answer is no, it definitely is not better. It doesn't work better. We'll get into that in a sec. At around 10 minutes into the video, she brings up my name and says, Adam uses clickbait, or Wickens Wicked Reptiles uses clickbait on basically every video. This is true. We all do, because we're professionals, and that's what you do on YouTube. You have to use some form of clickbait. Again, content whose main purpose is to attract attention, encourage visitors, right? That's what we're doing. And then she pulls up, these reptiles will bite you. This is the thumbnail that I used. To be fair, I mean, the cat scratches on my eyes, which she rolls her eye at, which is, I mean, hilarious and funny, whatever it is, what it is. I don't make these thumbnails. I've got a really cool thumbnail editor who does a really good job doing this. I thought it was a good touch because it gets, I mean, it's obviously silly. They don't have like, it's not going to happen from a snake. The point is to get attention. Anyway, she took offense to this, it seemed like, or at least wasn't happy with it. And then her whole argument was, well, how does this help herpetoculture? She literally says that. Let me explain. I'm so glad that you asked. It helps herpetoculture because I'm baiting in people who think, oh, these snakes will bite you, and I point to an emerald tree boa, which we'll get to in a second. And then in the video, I unload, hey, most emerald tree boas are coming in wild caught. This is a reason that you should buy them from a source that is not wild caught, that is captive bred. They might be more expensive, but it's worth it because they're less apt to bite you. Sure, you can train and work with your emerald tree boas, like she says in the video, to be just like a ball python. However, expecting them to be that way out of the box without work, which is the whole point of the video, which she is boasting that she didn't watch. All these videos, she's boasting that she didn't give them clicks to watch, which is fine in principle, I guess, but then you're commenting on a video that you didn't actually see. The whole point of this video is to bait people in who think they're gonna bite them and explain why they bite them and how to get that animal not to bite. If I didn't use that thumbnail, instead of it having 50,000 views or whatever, it would have 5,000 views. So doesn't it make more sense to get in front of more people? Anyway, let's get to the snake discovery thing. Because again, I don't care that she used my face and used this example. I just don't think that some people understand why we do this, and that's why we do it. I disagree wholeheartedly with, oh, that thumbnail did more damage, blah, blah, blah. No, it didn't. I disagree 100%. And I think the content in the video has converted more people in the right way than the thumbnail would the opposite way, and I think it's not even close. It's hundreds of times more. So let's get back to it. Would this thumbnail be better than this one? The answer is straight up no. Your thumbnail is wordy and busy and just breaks every rule of what a thumbnail should be. And this isn't harping on you. I mean, I hire someone to do my thumbnails, right? So I'm not preaching that I know thumbnails, I'm the thumbnail czar, I'm not. But I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of videos in my career about how to get people to click on videos, and this thumbnail doesn't really do a good job. Snake Discoveries, on the other hand, does do a good job. In the video of this creator, her highest view count, I think, is like 2,000 views or something. Again, not harping on it at all. The message is great, but I wish the message would be put in front of more people. So instead of putting your message in front of a group the size of a graduating class of a small high school, what Snake Discovery did is put the message 3.2 million views into an audience the size of a major city. So what do you think as the viewer? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think the 2,000 view video with a thumbnail that's not offensive in any way is better than Snake Discovery, who we can all agree they're the most wholesome people in the world? Like, I've met these people, they are exactly like they are on camera, okay? So wholesome. Gives a perfect message, but you don't like the thumbnail. Which is doing better for the community in your opinion? Obviously, it's the Snake Discovery video. So then the argument is, well, why didn't they use a different title and thumbnail? If it's the exact same content, why would you want less people to view it? Now, of course, the argument is, well, because it's harmful, blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. This is not true. These thumbnails are not harmful. So is there any other reason to do this? No, I've never heard another argument for this. So of course, you're gonna use the best title and thumbnail, barring using, I don't know, like blood and guts and lying, right? Because what they show in the video and what I show in my videos always goes with the actual content. I never clickbait and then don't deliver on my promise. And neither do these other really good content creators that you use. Well, the herping ones, I don't really, we'll get to herping in a second, but I can't say for everybody, but for most of them, Snake Discovery, in that vein, like that lane of content creators. In this video, and I've heard this with other people too, there's the comment of confirming stereotypes, and emerald tree boas was one. And sure, emerald tree boas, tokay geckos, etc. have a reputation for biting people, and it's not always true. I mean, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Emerald tree boas are definitely, and I have experience, I own emerald tree boas, right? I've worked with them before, do bite more than other snakes in similar situations. And there's many reasons for it, but then you have to get people's attention to explain the reasons. If you just put a video out there, it's just plain Jane with just words and then you small in the thumbnail, and then the title is something like, emerald tree boas don't actually bite that much because of this, this, and this, and use 100 characters, I promise you no one's gonna click on that. In comparison to this will bite you with an arrow, and then you unload the message, and then people come away, as you can see in the comment section, literally go look, it's right there. Oh, I didn't know that about emerald tree boas. I didn't know that about this species. Oh, isn't it amazing? I'm so glad you showed me this about tokay geckos. Now I watch Reptiliatus because he teaches us how to do it. So not only are we dispelling the myth, but then we promote other channels that show how to train these animals to not be what you think they're going to be. Now, this is all about the lane of what I do, which is mostly this talking head stuff or like pets and things like that. As for the herping videos, I think there's two camps. I think there's really good herping videos, and sometimes they do sensationalize, this snake bit me, whatever. Personally, I don't use pictures of snakes actually biting, like making contact with hands, but either way, that's my opinion. The point is they're getting views on these videos and then saying, hey, this is why I got bit. So they're telling you the same thing. The ones who, I got bit in the face 50 times, I think that's an example that she used in the video. I agree, that's kind of stupid. And I don't think there's a problem with herping and then making the video and here, this is a fox snake and blah, blah, blah. And then if you get bit in the process, I mean, I understand that you stressed it out, but you're putting it back immediately. It's, you know, stress for a very short period of time. It is for education. I disagree with if you're doing it just to get bit. But the whole thing about this might encourage more people to kill them based on the thumbnail, I think is fear-mongering and baseless. I think this is just a truly silly goose argument. I think it does the exact opposite. And I think it's thousands of times more likely that people are gonna watch the video, see a snake next time and be like, oh, I saw that guy who I really respect, because for whatever reason, people think you're a celebrity if they watch you on the TV, even if it's a YouTube video that costs you next to nothing to make. Anyway, they're gonna say, hey, that guy who I saw on my TV or my computer or my tablet or whatever, that guy told me this. I know that because I watched the video. I watched the video because of the thumbnail, and now I'm not going to kill that snake. I promise you it's thousands of times more likely for that to happen than someone to see a snake on a thumbnail biting and then just go kill it. Like, come on. And to round out the title of this video, which I don't even know what I'm gonna be, because realistically, like, I use bait in the intro, I use bait in the title, in the thumbnail, but you're all here. It obviously works. And you're here, however long this video is, longer than normal, this far in. And the whole point is you have to get an audience before you can deliver a message. And that is what we're doing. And the proof is in the pudding. And by pudding, I mean comments that confirm my theories and the views, which are not arguable. At the end of the day, you might not like how the game works, but this is a game. This YouTube thing is a game. All media is a game, whether it's on a television network or not, and it doesn't matter if you like it or not. That is how it's played, and that is how you get your message in front of a lot of people. Anyway, to this creator, thank you so much for making this video. I don't agree with it, but I do think that your intentions are in the right place, and I watched some of your other videos, and I think you actually give really good content on those videos. And I'm gonna send this content creator a message to let her know that this video is coming out, and of course, I'm not bashing this person whatsoever, and everybody who disagrees with me, I'm not bashing you either, and I would love to have a conversation in the comment section below. Please hit subscribe while you're down there, and as always, the Patreon crew, you guys got this video early, discounts on merch, all that, and more, for as little as $1 a month, and that's it. Because I do videos twice a week, that means I'll see you in the next one.